Nah, it's real. This
Bruh,
is two dogs.
he's from the
It's two
suburbs.
It's two
He
dogs.
from the suburbs.
I ain't from no mother.
And him don't
suburbs.
got nothing
You
in
don't know me.
common.
You don't know me. What you talking
But
about?
the
You
little
sound
female
crazy.
he got.
That's the problem.
But that little female he got, well, she probably around here somewhere. I'll catch up with her.
Hey.
Gervonta Davis has brutally clowned Frank Martin while also making insane claims about his girlfriend. Conversely, within industry circles, murmurs abound regarding a potential showdown between Gervonta and Shakur Stevenson. This looming spectacle, as per Stevenson himself, promises to be a monumental clash, epitomizing the age-old battle between finesse and brute force, featuring two unbeaten behemoths. During a frank discussion on Cigar Talks with Najee, Gervonta Davis didn't hold back when assessing his potential challenger. Davis openly critiqued Stevenson's defensive prowess and cast doubt on the potency of his offensive arsenal. When prompted about the potential challenge Stevenson posed, Davis swiftly dismissed the notion, citing Stevenson's lack of significant achievements.
Show me something that he did show me something that he did outrageous. Show me. His power not outrageous.
Okay.
What defense?
You don't think he got defense?
He just jumped back. You never see him slip no punch. You never.
Davis commenced by dissecting Stevenson's defensive acumen, suggesting a deficiency in the agility and finesse required to effectively evade strikes. He openly challenged anyone to showcase instances of Stevenson slipping punches, insinuating a notable absence of such defensive maneuvers in Stevenson's repertoire. Furthermore, Davis lambasted Stevenson's tendency to retreat from adversaries, implying a lack of confidence in engaging in close quarters combat. Expanding on his evaluation, Gervonta Davis shifted his focus to Stevenson's offensive capabilities, contending that they lack diversity and creativity. He argued that Stevenson's offensive maneuvers follow a predictable pattern, making it straightforward for adversaries to anticipate and counter his attacks. He openly invited viewers to scrutinize Stevenson's previous matches, expressing certainty that they would discover scant evidence of inventive offensive tactics.
Slip no punch. You never see him slip no punch. Go look at it. You see him back up from a lot of people. Back up, move around. He don't got no technique. And his offense is the same thing. Go look at his fights.
So you
I
feel
probably
like
pin him on game, probably time that. Yeah,
hold on, but you feel like it's easy work though. You like.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, I touched him with 16-ounce gloves on, and he ran. Imagine if I hit him with 8 ounces. The guy is here too.
Who? What guy?
The one that
was there?
No, the one that he sparred.
Oh,
I mean the one that he fought.
Oh, Edwin, yeah, you seen him, yeah.
Tank's straightforward appraisal of Stevenson's strengths and weaknesses underscores his assurance as he contemplates their potential matchup. Renowned for his bold persona and unshakable self-assurance, Davis remains undeterred by the prospect of squaring off against Stevenson in the ring. Instead, he appears resolute in his determination to exploit what he perceives as deficiencies in Stevenson's approach, convinced of his own aptitude and strategic prowess to secure victory. Despite Tank brushing off his boxing prowess, viewing him as a mere adversary, Stevenson refuses to yield, issuing a resolute warning in response. Shakur Stevenson responded sharply to Tank's comments. He leaned into his persona as X and suggested that Davis could face a rude awakening if they met in the ring. He stated, "Nick overlooking me. He's gonna be in for a rude awakening come fight night." Yet, during a discussion on the podcast $1 Million Worth of Game, Stevenson recognized Davis's status as a PPV sensation, acknowledging the financial aspects involved. He stated that he didn't see himself in a position to make an offer to the biggest star in boxing, questioning what he could possibly offer. Stevenson emphasized, "Who am I to make an offer to the biggest star in boxing? What can I offer him? It doesn't make sense." It would have to come from his side, from his team, to want to make a fight. Stevenson and Davis, both undefeated so far, boast impressive records in their careers. When assessing their abilities, they stand shoulder to shoulder in the realm of fighters. While Tank gears up for a summer showdown with Frank Martin, Stevenson currently lacks a clear direction. With both fighters nearing their next challenges, the possibility of them facing off against each other looms large. If Stevenson wants Tank to consider his condition, he'll have to face Edwin de los Santos first. Tank will only agree to fight Stevenson after that. During a recent interview, Tank was questioned, about potentially fighting Stevenson amid their escalating rivalry. Struggling to remember Stevenson's last opponent, de los Santos, Tank stated he'd only agree to the fight if Stevenson emerged victorious against the Dominican fighter once more. He said, "Tell him to rematch that guy now. If he beats him, then there you go. We can get on. I guarantee he won't fight that guy again." But why does Shakur Stevenson need to fight an opponent he's already defeated? Although he appears eager to fight Stevenson, Davis does not believe the latter to be a threat. Why? Davis expressed his lack of respect for the fighting style of his counterpart. Despite Sugar being widely widely praised for his defensive prowess, Tank believes he relies too much on evasion tactics rather than engaging directly. This disparity in approach is what leads Davis to conclude that Shakur isn't on par with him. Davis remarked, "Never, go, look at. He backs up from a lot of people. Back up, move around. Move around. You have no technique, and his offense is the same thing if you go look at his fights." Meanwhile, the showdown between Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin kicked off with the official commencement of proceedings. In Las Vegas, Nevada, the two boxers engaged in their inaugural press conference, setting the stage for their upcoming bout. And how did it unfold? Friendly behavior seemed to be notably absent from the scene. During the event, Martin faced questions about his perception as the underdog against the WBA regular champion. He responded with maturity, acknowledging that he was accustomed to being viewed as an underdog throughout his career. However, before he could complete his answer, Tank interrupted. Annoyed, Frank Martin snapped. He remarked, "You are doing all the tweeting. Let me talk." While Tank remained relentless in his bickering, Martin not only questioned the fighter, but also made a vow. He said, "Didn't you say you're done talking? I will touch him up. I will touch his ass up." In response, Tank went overboard. He said, "That little female he got. She's probably around here somewhere. I'll catch up with her." Martin's irritation and anger were evident in his demeanor as he spoke. Despite his attempts to retaliate against Davis, the latter persisted with his antics, commandeering the conversation with his disruptive behavior. In addition, Tank talked extensively about his expectations for himself and his comeback to the ring. Tank came very close to slapping Martin at one point, but those positioned between prevented that from occurring. But in another striking instance, Tank also talked earnestly. He explained, "I'm glad to be back in the ring. I've been off for a long time. I want to be flawless and do what I do best, and that gives you fans the best boxing you've seen up to date. He's a frontrunner. I'm telling you, it's a different beast in front of you." While that seemed powerful, he added further, "There's nobody walking with him, holding his hand. It's not going to be the same on June 15th. There's a lot of bullshit built up. I'm going to take it out on him. I'm sorry it's going to be him." In addition, Davis expressed his reluctance to compete at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, advocating for a venue change for his upcoming title defense. In a tweet that has since been removed, the unbeaten fighter highlighted his reservations, stating his unwillingness to contribute to the city's economy due to what he perceived as a lack of appreciation from the local fan base. He wrote, "And niggas gotta book another venue. I'm not fighting in Vegas. I don't want to bring no money here. You don't respect me. I won't respect you all." Supporters in the comments clamored for Davis to relocate the event to his beloved hometown of Baltimore, where he stepped into the ring merely on 2 occasions during his professional journey, the most recent being in 2019 when he faced Ricardo Nunes. During their recent encounter, security intervened when Davis pushed Martin's hand away following their initial confrontation. Davis commented that Frank had been excessively vocal, attempting to assert his dominance. He indicated that the situation would change for Frank on June 15th, emphasizing that no one from his entourage could come to his aid. Davis also expressed his frustration, highlighting the mounting tension and his intention to channel it towards Frank, albeit regretting that Frank happened to be the recipient of it. Davis said, "I'm definitely looking forward to, all around the board, just being back in the ring. I've been off for a long time, I've been in jail, I've been under house arrest and things like that. I'm just happy to be back here." The tension between Frank Martin and Gervonta Davis was unmistakable, as the two fighters engaged in a fiery verbal exchange ahead of a potential bout. Martin, renowned for his underdog mindset, voiced his determination to prove himself in the ring, underscoring the challenges he's overcome throughout his career. However, Davis, never one to back down from a confrontation, swiftly asserted his dominance in the dialogue. Dismissing Martin's assertions, Davis suggested that Martin has yet to face a rival of his caliber. With unwavering confidence, he proclaimed his intent to school Martin in the ring, exuding the trademark bravado of an undefeated champion. Davis's stature as one of the globe's most prominent fighters is deeply intertwined with his past ties to Floyd Mayweather Jr. He stood witness at the MGM on that pivotal night in 2012 when Mayweather triumphed over Miguel Cotto, and now eagerly anticipates headlining at one of the most renowned boxing arenas on the planet. He said, "I'm just happy to be back in the mix and happy to fight at the MGM. This will probably be my second time fighting here, but I remember coming to watch Floyd versus Cotto, and I walked through the front door, and I saw all the celebrities and things like that. I always wanted to be a part of something like this. So I'm just grateful to be in this position, and also to be on this card with another young lion like myself, and to give the fans what they want to see." However, the tension escalated as Davis targeted Martin's background, highlighting their contrasting upbringings. Davis's remarks took a personal turn, as he made derogatory comments about Martin's personal life, specifically targeting his partner. Despite Davis's provocations, Martin stood his ground, refusing to yield in the verbal exchange. The hostility between the two fighters intensified as insults were traded, with neither willing to concede. The climax came when Davis retrieved his phone to display footage of their previous sparring sessions, using it to bolster his claim of superiority in the ring. The heated exchange lasted for several minutes, with both fighters vehemently defending their honor and asserting their chances of victory in a potential match. Meanwhile, Martin expressed his gratitude for being present and for the opportunity to showcase his abilities. He mentioned his appreciation for Gervonta Davis accepting the fight, although he believed it was a mistake on their part. Martin emphasized his readiness to surprise everyone and prove himself. Martin said, "I appreciate Gervonta Davis for even taking the fight. I believe they f***ed up by taking the fight, but I do appreciate them giving me this opportunity to show the world what I'm about. I'm ready to go out and shock the world and do what I do what people think I can't do." Martin emphasized the significance of fighting for a world title, expressing that it held great importance to him as he had been working towards it since the beginning of his career. He described himself as the underdog and indicated his familiarity with Gervonta Davis and his team, confidently stating his intention to outperform them in the fight. Martin added, "It means everything to fight for a world title. I have been working for it. I have been the underdog in this since I started, from the beginning. I have been watching everything. I know how he and his whole team walk." Moreover, Frank Martin exudes confidence in his belief that he has surpassed Davis. Despite previous sparring sessions where Gervonta seemed to have the upper hand, Martin shrugs them off as mere practice, acknowledging that even top athletes have off days. The extent of Martin's struggle against Tank remains uncertain, but it appears it wasn't his shining moment. During his interview with Fight Hub TV, Frank Martin radiated assurance as he discussed his upcoming bout with Gervonta. He began by underscoring his mental readiness for the fight, stating that victory is already a certainty in his mind. Martin emphasized his meticulous study of Davis's fighting techniques and the development of a strategic plan aimed at exploiting his opponent's vulnerabilities.
Breaking him down, studying him. The game plan is crazy, you know. So it's a lot of them guys he get in there with is not like me, you know. They're not like me. So the game plan that we got, man, is we go in there and capitalize off the game plan. I think it'll be a crazy night.
Martin's confidence stemmed from his belief in possessing a distinct skill set that separates him from Davis's prior adversaries. While acknowledging Davis's imposing strength, he stressed that relying solely on power wouldn't suffice against a fighter of Davis's caliber. Instead, Martin underscored the significance of boxing finesse and strategy, asserting the necessity to exploit Davis's defensive susceptibilities for victory. Central to Martin's strategy is his aptitude to outmaneuver Davis and capitalize on his opponent's flaws. He highlighted how Davis's recent bouts often hung in the balance, or even found Davis trailing before a decisive blow turned the tide. Martin aims to break this cycle by implementing a tactical approach that allows him to outdistance Davis and secure a definitive advantage.
I think y'all gonna see a pull away. Yeah, y'all gonna see a pull away. You know, I mean, he always getting beat by guys. When he fighting his last 5 fights, it's either real close or he getting beat by a guy and then boom, he land that big shot. You know, but a lot of them guys they not me.
With his emphasis on boxing prowess and a strategic game plan, Martin is convinced he holds the winning formula against Davis. He radiated confidence in his capability to flawlessly execute his strategy and secure victory come fight night. As anticipation mounts for their showdown, fans eagerly anticipate the clash between Martin and Davis, curious to witness if Martin's confidence will indeed materialize into a memorable triumph in the ring. Meanwhile, as widely acknowledged, His Excellency Turki Alalshikh, an ardent enthusiast of boxing, is committed to orchestrating top-tier bouts within the sport. Alongside the highly anticipated matchups, such as Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk and Matchroom versus Queensberry, Alalshikh aspired to present Devin Haney versus Gervonta Davis, catering to aficionados of boxing eager for a showcase of captivating talent. Turki Alalshikh had said, "But Haney, I want to see him in my country, and I am sending a message from you now to him. I will try to do it in 2024. And Davis, of course, we want him in our country." But Gervonta Davis ultimately insisted on 2 Ferraris in order for Alalshikh's proposal to be approved. Upon hearing this, His Excellency, who also possesses a knack for eloquence, gracefully responded that he would happily dispatch 2 gloves to Davis if the latter was genuinely committed to confronting Haney and making a statement. In light of Alalshikh's remarks, Gervonta Davis then explained his reasoning behind requesting 2 Ferrari cars. He said, "You know why I said that? Because he was already talking like he was backing Devin, like Devin's my guy. All right, cool. You all want me to fight over there? Send me something first?" With a very calm demeanor and holding his ground, Gervonta Davis added, "You know why fighters are going over there? Because they can't sell here. I can sell it here. So I ain't gotta go over there. What they are making over there, I'm making here already." Anyway, while Gervonta Davis remains open to fighting Devin Haney, lately the 2 boxers ran into each other in Las Vegas. Davis has recently stirred the pot by targeting Haney, pinpointing his luxurious truck. Reigniting their long-standing feud, Davis added fuel to the fire by mocking Haney following his defeat to Ryan Garcia. Despite their interactions primarily unfolding on social media, Davis recently snapped a photo next to Haney's parked Mercedes-Benz G63, stationed on the street. Sharing the image on Instagram, he captioned it, "Aha, niggas can't stop and we on their side. Responding to a fan who identified the vehicle's owner, Davis later confirmed in the comments that it indeed belonged to Haney. Tank then slammed Haney, tweeting, "Tell them how I made you and your team dip out, and I'm on your side of town. That cold bitch." However, Haney was not afraid of Tank. He responded, "This nigga liked my car so much, he took a picture next to it. Send him one champion motoring." Later, we saw the emergence of a video capturing Davis and Haney engaged in a heated exchange. Well, it marks a significant development in their evolving relationship. This confrontation sheds light on Davis's newfound interest in Haney, particularly following Haney's recent defeat to Ryan Garcia. Despite Haney's previous efforts to ignite a rivalry with the unbeaten Davis, it appears that Davis's attention was fully captured after witnessing Haney's loss to Garcia. The intensity of their exchange suggests that Davis is now more invested in engaging with Haney, possibly viewing him as a worthy adversary, or an opponent worth confronting. For Haney, who had been actively seeking to draw Davis into a rivalry, the confrontation with Davis signifies a validation of his efforts. Despite facing setbacks in the ring, Haney's determination to establish himself as a formidable opponent has not waned, and the exchange with Davis may serve as a catalyst for further rivalry and competition between the two fighters. Previous encounters between the two saw heated confrontations with Garcia also joining the fray by sharing footage of Haney taking a hit from Davis in the presence of boxing legend Floyd Mayweather. But the recent altercation between Davis and Haney has added a fresh layer of intensity to their rivalry, igniting fervent discussions within the boxing community. The revelation of another video capturing the heated exchange has only fueled curiosity and speculation surrounding their ongoing feud. In the footage, Davis confronts Haney, seemingly provoking him. Following Haney's loss to Ryan Garcia, the air is thick with tension as both fighters engage in a fiery verbal exchange, hurling insults and jabs at each other, showcasing raw emotion and deep-seated animosity. The confrontation brims with intensity, with Davis and Haney visibly agitated and impassioned as they exchange words. Despite security personnel attempting to intervene and separate the two fighters, the altercation persists, highlighting the depth of their mutual antipathy and the personal stakes of their feud. For aficionados of the sport, the video offers an illuminating insight into the dynamics of the Davis-Haney rivalry, unveiling the simmering tensions and underlying animosities that have fueled their contentious relationship. In another instance, Gervonta Davis didn't mince words when he criticized Devin Haney's performance against Ryan Garcia, contrasting it with his own bout against Garcia. Davis asserted that Garcia's performance against Haney was lackluster compared to their encounter, emphasizing that Garcia appeared bigger and slower against Haney. He said, "Look at Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney, then look at my fight versus Ryan. If Ryan looked any different, he probably looked worse versus Haney. Bigger, much slower. He only hit him with the same punch I told everybody, a hook, a hook, a hook." Davis highlighted his own strategy of targeting Garcia with hooks, implying that Haney failed to capitalize on similar opportunities. He suggested that Haney's perceived vulnerability to hooks indicated shortcomings in his defensive skills, despite Haney's reputation as a pound-for-pound contender. With these pointed remarks, Davis didn't hold back in expressing his disdain for Haney's performance, labeling him as trash. This direct criticism adds fuel to the brewing rivalry between Davis and Haney, setting the stage for potential future showdowns and intensifying the competition within the boxing world. Tank added, "Devin was sitting right there to be caught with the hook, and they were talking about this guy pound for pound. Come on, he's trash, he's trash." In addition to this, the verbal sparring between Gervonta and Frank Martin ahead of their potential bout showcased the intensity and animosity brewing between the two fighters. As anticipation mounts for their showdown, fans eagerly await to see if Martin can defy the odds and shock the world, or if Davis will maintain his dominance in the ring. Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you enjoyed this one.